Welcome to the deep dive. Today we have some very serious source material. We're looking at 4 deeply tragic cases, all involving teenagers convicted of murder.
We are, and this isn't just a rundown of the facts.
No, our mission here is to really analyze what these cases show us about how the justice system responds to violent crime committed by young people.
Specifically, what happens when a minor gets a life sentence, because that phrase can mean very different things.
It really can.
Exactly. We're going to look at how things like intent, the offender's age, and this is a big one, whether they cooperate with police, can totally change what that sentence actually looks like in practice.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to start with a case where intent was everything. On the surface, it could look like a horrible accident, but the prosecution argued something much darker.
Right.
This is the case of Mackenzie Shirilla. She was 17 in Ohio and was found guilty of murdering her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and his friend, David Flanagan, in a car crash.
And that's the key. The defense tried to frame it as reckless driving or maybe even a failed suicide attempt.
But the prosecution? They were having none of that.
No, their argument was blunt. They said this was not reckless driving, this was murder. And they built that case on the couple's toxic relationship history. Apparently there were prior violent threats she had made.
And the details of the crash itself, they speak volumes. Sources say she was driving calmly, makes a normal turn, and then just
puts the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Accelerates to 100 miles per hour straight into a commercial building. Just no hesitation.
And to really nail down the premeditation charge, the prosecution showed evidence that Shirilla had allegedly driven that exact same route just a few days earlier.
Like she was scoping it out, planning it.
That was the narrative, yes.
Yeah.
That her boyfriend was the target, and his friend was, in the court's words, collateral damage.
During her sentencing, though, she was tearful, claimed she was full of sorrow, and wished she could remember what happened. She completely denied any intent.
But the judge just didn't buy it.
Right. The judge's statement was critical. They said a failed suicide attempt is not a defense for murder. If your actions kill other people, it's still murder, regardless of what you intended for yourself.
So let's talk about the sentence, because this part is really interesting for you to understand. 2 counts of murder, right?
Right. 1 for each victim.
She got 15 years to life for the first count and 15 years to life for the second. But, this is the key, they were ordered to be served concurrently.
And that word concurrent is so important. It means the sentences run at the same time side by side.
So she's not doing 30 years before parole.
No. Her minimum is 15 years. If the sentences had been consecutive back to back, it would have been 30.
It shows the court balancing the premeditation with her age.
Okay, so that's intent in a vehicular setting. Let's shift now to a case that's just, the motive is almost unbelievably trivial.
Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale, 2 16-year-olds from Iowa.
And the reason for murder? A bad grade.
It's shocking. The victim was Nohema Graber, their Spanish teacher. Miller was one of her students, and he had a bad grade, and that was it. That was the trigger.
The planning, though, was anything but trivial. Our sources say they stalked her, they knew her routine, her walk in the park.
They ambushed her, hit her from behind, and then they kept beating her with a baseball bat.
And this is the quote, make sure she dead.
It's horrific, and then they dragged her body into the woods. But the thing that really cooked them, the thing that made it an open and shut case, was their digital footprint.
This is where it gets so modern, isn't it?
Completely. Snapchat messages.
What do they say?
Court documents alleged one message read, "Point of view, you're my Spanish teacher, and this is the last thing you see."
Oh, wow.
And it was followed by another message, "Time to hide a body." You can't really argue accident after that.
No. And that evidence seems to have split them up legally.
It did. Goodale pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and agreed to testify against his best friend, Miller.
So Goodale, the one who cooperated, got life with a possibility of parole after 25 years.
Right, but Miller, who didn't cooperate, got life with parole eligibility after 35 years.
That's a 10-year difference. That is a huge piece of leverage for the prosecution.
A massive one.
Okay, so from planning and cooperation, let's go to a case defined by just sheer brutality and extreme youth.
Aiden Fucci. He was only 14.
In Florida. He murdered his 13-year-old classmate.
And the violence is, well, it's almost incomprehensible. He stabbed her 114 times.
114?
Yeah. The medical examiner broke it down. 49 of those were defensive wounds. This was a sustained, brutal attack.
And the aftermath is just as disturbing. There's video of them walking together, then 90 minutes later, he's seen running away alone. And then
he gets arrested, and he's taking Snapchats in the back of the police car.
the disconnect again. It's just staggering.
It is. I mean, to commit that kind of violence and then immediately engage in such a trivial social media act, it's hard to process.
You could see that shock in the interrogation video with his parents. They were just admonishing him about the Snapchats. His mom says, "This is your whole life and hours and hours."
Just utter devastation.
So what was his sentence?
Because he was so young, only 14, he got life, but he's eligible for a judicial review after 25 years. It's mandatory.
Interesting. And his reaction?
Unlike Miller, he reportedly just stood completely still, silent.
Okay, one final case. This one brings it all together, really. Betrayal, shifting friendships, and again, cooperation.
This is Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy, both 16, from West Virginia. They killed their friend, Skylar Neese.
And the motive.
This is maybe the most chilling part. They just decided they didn't like her anymore.
That's it.
That's it. They planned it together, hid knives on themselves, and attacked her at an agreed-upon moment. Pure betrayal.
And it was one of them confessing that broke the case wide open.
Yes, Rachel Schoaf confessed. And this is where you can see the legal strategy play out so clearly.
Okay, break it down for us.
Schoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in exchange for her full cooperation. She led them to the body. She outlined the entire plan. She gave a tearful apology in court.
And her sentence.
30 years, with the possibility of parole in just 10 years.
10 years, wow. And what about Sheila Eddy, the other girl?
Eddy didn't cooperate. She got life imprisonment, but it was with mercy, which is a legal term in West Virginia. It means she's eligible for parole after 15 years.
So Schoaf's cooperation literally shaved 5 years off her minimum time in prison.
Exactly. A 5-year difference. That's the prize for helping the prosecution. It's an enormous incentive.
So when you put all these cases together, you see that life sentence for a teenager is not a single thing at all.
Not even close. You have Miller with a 35-year minimum, Fucci and Goodale with 25, Eddy with 15, and Schoaf with 10. It's a huge spectrum.
It really shows how the court weighs youth, premeditation, brutality, and maybe most of all, legal strategy. It's not just about punishment, it's about forcing cooperation to get to the truth.
It's a sobering look at how the system tries to balance justice with the fact that these are, still developing adolescents.
I want to leave you with a final thought, something that really ties a couple of these cases together. These are crimes that were planned, documented, or even boasted about on Snapchat. My question for you to think about is this: how has the permanence of this digital evidence, these digital receipts, totally changed how juvenile crimes are investigated and prosecuted? Does it make it almost impossible now to commit a crime without leaving behind a written confession of your intent?